Hello again. So this is a continuation of the earlier lecture on the structure of Freud's theory, id, ego, and superego. So one way of looking at this is through a metaphor. So imagine a man who has two very close and demanding friends. This man is reasonable. His feet are completely on the ground. He has no illusions or fantasies. He knows what's going on in the world. He's a practical, realistic person. But his friends, no. One of his friends is demanding and self-indulgent, potentially destructive character, whose typical advice to our hero of the story is to live for today. Take, use, enjoy, indulge in whatever our hero wants. Do what he tells him, and do it now. If the man has a sexual or aggressive impulse, this friend urges, actually demands, that he satisfy it. The other man's friend, though, is the exact opposite. He is a moralistic and rigid spoil sport. His typical advice to our hero is always, do not do it. Whenever our hero is enjoying something, however harmless, this friend demands that he immediately stop. Whenever our hero has a desire for something, however natural or necessary in life, this friend demands that he abstain. So our hero's problem is complicated. He must balance the selfish demands of one of his friends with the inflexible prohibitions of the other one. And he has to balance that against reality. If he gives in to his indulgent friend too much, he will become selfish, immoral, and violent. If he obeys his moralistic friend too often, he will become way too straight-laced, rigid, and guilt-ridden. Since he needs both of his friends, he has the very difficult job of balancing their conflicting demands against reality. The ego is the reality principle. He has to learn when to give in to his urges and when to suppress his impulses. Sometimes he can do it and enjoy himself because it makes sense. Sometimes he must not do it because it would make no sense. Because the man's balancing act is tough, there are times when it is almost too much for him to take, and he suffers at those times from anxiety. So, according to Sigmund Freud's theory of personality, the ego, our hero here, the conscious self of every person, could be compared to this man, our hero. His indulgent friend would be, of course, the id, all of a person's aggressive and impulsive impulses, and his moralistic friend would be the superego, a moral force similar to conscience. It is, said Freud, the role of the ego to balance the conflicting demands of id and superego against reality. Ego, id, and superego are not real things or people or parts of the brain. Rather, they are metaphorical names for the functions of the personality. Both id and superego reside in the unconscious, while ego is mostly a function, I'd say partially, a function of the conscious mind. Thank you.